Hello everyone. Our today's topic is about decimals. We will be learning about meaning of decimal, meaning of decimal fraction, and decimal number, conversion of fractions into decimal numbers. Decimal comes from a Latin word decimus, which means tenth. The numbers that the decimal number system presents are called decimal fractions. A decimal fraction refers to a fraction whose denominator, divisor, is either 10 or a power of 10 such as 100, 1000, 10,000 and so on. For instance, this circle is divided into 10 parts and 3 of these fractions are colored, so it will be 3 by 10. 10 is the total number of sections in the circle and 3 is the number of sections which are colored. If 7 out of these parts are colored, we will write it as 7 by 10. Similarly, 22 parts out of 100 will be 22 by 100. 56 parts out of 1000 will be 56 by 1000. 175 parts out of 1000 will be 175 by 1000. All 4 of these are decimal fractions. Now, there is another way of writing these decimal fractions that uses point. By this method, we can write these numbers as 3 by 10 is equal to 0.3. 7 by 10 is equal to 0.7. 22 by 100 is equal to 0.22. 56 by 1000 is equal to 0.056. 175 by 1000 is equal to 0.175. When these fractions are presented this way, like 0.3, 0.7, 0.22, 0.056 and 0.175, we call them decimal numbers or decimals for short. Let's understand the making of decimal numbers. A decimal number is based on 2 parts, such as in 45.78, one part lies on the left of the point, that is 45, and the other part lies on the right side of the point, that is 78. The point that separates these 2 parts is known as the decimal point. The left part, that is 45 in 45.78, is known as the whole part or integral part, and the right part, that is 78 in 45.78, is known as the decimal part. So, the integral part and the decimal part are separated by the decimal point. The number of digits that make the decimal part of the decimal number are referred to as number of decimal places. For instance, in this given example, there are 2 decimal places. One is 7 and the other is 8. Let's see some more examples of decimal numbers. In number 10.36, 10 is the whole integral part and 36 is the decimal part. The point between these parts is the decimal point, and there are two decimal places in it, that is 3 and 6. In number 95.264, 95 is the whole integral part and 264 is the decimal part. The point between these parts is the decimal point, and there are 3 decimal places in it, that is 2, 6 and 4. Remember that zeros that come in the whole part on the left of the decimal point before a digit have no value. For instance, in 005.57, there is no value. The 2 zeros before 5 in the whole part, so we should simply write it as 5.57. Also, zeros that come in the decimal part on the right of the decimal point after the digits also have no value. For instance, in 8.400, there is no value of the 2 zeros after the 4 in the decimal part, so we should simply write it as 8.4. Conversion of fractions into decimals. To convert a fraction into a decimal number, we can divide the numerator by the denominator until we get 0 as remainder, but an easier way is to count the zeros of the denominator and put the decimal point in the numerator according to it. Let's see how it is done. Nominator bigger than denominator. Here we have 3 examples of fractions which have same numerator, that is 86,793, but different denominators, that is 10, 100 and 1000. As you may have noticed, the numerator is bigger than the denominator in all 3 examples. 86,793 by 10, 86,793 by 100, 86,793 by 1000. Now, to convert them into decimal numbers, that we can do is first write the numerator, then count the number of zeros in the denominator and put a decimal point in the number in such a way that the decimal places are equal to the number of zeros. 86,793 by 10. 86,793 is the numerator. 10 has 1 zero, so we count 1 digit from the left and put the decimal point after it like this. So it becomes 8,679.3. Hence, 86,793 by 10 is equal to 8,679.3. 86,793 by 100. 100 has 2 zeros, so we count 2 digits from the left and put the decimal point after it like this. So it becomes 867.93 and we read it as 867.93. Hence, 86,793 by 100 is equal to 867.93. 86,793 by 1000. 1000 has 3 zeros, so we count 3 digits from the left and put the decimal point after it like this. So it becomes 86.793 and we read it as 86.793. Therefore, 86,793 by 1000 is equal to 86.793. Nominator smaller than denominator. Let's see how to do the conversion when the nominator is smaller than the denominator. In case the nominator is smaller than the denominator, we count the number of digits in the denominator and then put some zeros before the digits of the numerator on the left to make equal number of digits in both nominator and denominator. Then we count the number of zeros in the denominator and put a decimal point in the number in such a way that the decimal places are equal to the number of zeros. Let's understand this by converting these fractions into decimals where denominator is bigger than numerator. 3 by 10, 3 by 100, 3 by 1000. Here we have examples of fractions which have same numerator, that is 3, but different denominators, that is 10, 100 and 1000. Let's begin with number 1. 3 by 10. The denominator has 2 digits while numerator 3 has 1 digit. So we add 1 0 in front of 3 on the left to make it a 2-digit number like 10. So now we have 03 instead of 3. Now count the number of zeros in 10. There is 1 0, so we count decimal places from the right side of 03 and put decimal point after 1 digit. It becomes 0.3. So 3 by 10 is equal to 0.3. Next is 3 by 100. The denominator 100 has 3 digits while numerator 3 has 1 digit. So we add 2 zeros in front of 3 on the left to make it a 3-digit number like 100. So now we have 003 instead of 3. Now count the number of zeros in 100. There are 2 zeros, so we count decimal places from the right side of 003 and put decimal point after 2 digits. It becomes 0.03. So 3 by 100 is equal to 0.03. Now 3 by 1000. The denominator 1000 has 4 digits while numerator 3 has 1 digit. So we add 3 zeros in front of 3 on the left to make it a 4-digit number like 1000. So now we have 0003 instead of 3. Now count the number of zeros in 1000. There are 3 zeros, so we count decimal places from the right side of 0003 and put decimal point after 3 digits. It becomes 0.003. So 3 by 1000 is equal to 0.003. We hope now you have learned about decimals. If some concepts are not clear, then replay the video again and again. Still, if you have some questions, then ask your teacher.